Tuskegee Airmen were part of the experience from 1941 to 1949. According to our charter from National Tuskegee Airmen, Inc., that qualifies you as a Tuskegee Airman, as we use the term DOTA, Documented Original Tuskegee Airman.
My name is Donald E. Elder, but most people call me Don. I had a great privilege of serving with the Tuskegee Airmen during World War II. I was born and raised here in Columbus, Ohio. I was second oldest of a family of 7 boys and 4 girls, of which my father was an air raid warden in the neighborhood who was the voice of authority. He made his contribution to the success of World War II. What happened to me was my older brother, he got drafted and went to Tuskegee, and he came back home. And sitting around the dinner table, he was telling us all about the fine things at Tuskegee, and I decided I wanted to go. So I enlisted in the Army Air Corps and had the good privilege of going to Biloxi, Mississippi, spending, I think it was maybe 10 or 12 weeks at A&E school, Aircraft and Engine Mechanics School. And based on my performance there, I got sent to Chanute Field to train for as a P-47 specialist, and that's where all of the Tuskegee Airmen ground crew were trained for maintenance and whatever. And I had the privilege at from that point of getting signed to the 99th Fighter Squadron. Some of the highlights of my career was the fact that I had the privilege of being crew chief on P-47 number 600, of which Lieutenant Daniel P. James flew. Now, keep in mind, he was just a little old first lieutenant at that time. So we used to have a good time at Lockburn. I happened to get stationed at Lockburn. Even though I was born and raised in Columbus, I got stationed at Lockburn. I did not go overseas, but I did spend time with Operations Combine for combat readiness training at Eglin Field in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Well, it was certainly not what I would call a heroic welcome. But it was not as sad as sometimes I hear it portrayed, because, and I say this in all honesty, because we didn't know any better. You know, we take the Tuskegee Airmen, we didn't have any rules, laws, or whatever. We knew that we served our country from a segregated point of view. We weren't wanted, but we knew that we were serving, and we served, I guess I always say, from the head and from the heart. We did what we thought was right. Do what we thought we wanted to do. So even though we didn't get the ticker tape parade down Fifth Avenue and whatever, but we had the privilege of serving. So again, I could say some of the highlights of my career was in January of 1949, I had the privilege of walking down Pennsylvania Avenue for the inauguration of President Harry Truman. So I think of some of the accomplishments we made during that time afforded me the opportunity in January of 2009 of being a guest of the president in Pennsylvania Avenue. I got a chance to sit in the guest seat. So again, that's a part of the contribution that I think we made to our country. Again, I'm one of the ones who was in Washington in March of 2007 to receive the Congressional Gold Medal from then President Bush. The story of Lockburn, what was built for the city, but I'll put it this way, it was the only black air base in the United States. I think one of the greatest things this chapter does is continue to foster the legend of the Tuskegee Airmen. You know, and I think we can be proud of the double victory that we had, you know, a victory overseas and a victory at home. And I say victory overseas because we contributed to the success of the completion of the war. When we came back, I say victory at home because we contributed to the success of the country today moving forward. I can certainly appreciate George Lucas for making the movie and keeping it alive, but keep in mind it's Star Wars. You know, he's got to have his sound effects and And I certainly am grateful to him for making it. I think it was about 80% correct. Again, it was Hollywood. But as I try to tell the young people, if you really want to learn about it, you need to get in the history books. I'm not in history books, but you need to get on the internet and look at some of the names, such as Benjamin O. Davis Jr. We need to continue to foster the names of what they did, the individual. Remember, Cuba Gooding Jr. was not a Tuskegee Airman. So I just like to say that think of some of the names of some of the pilots, like Daniel P. James, how he rose from a first lieutenant to become commander of the entire North American Air Defense Command. We can talk about separate but equal back then, but my own personal experience and the kinds of things that we did with secondhand equipment or no training and whatever, I just say boastfully, give us a chance anywhere and we'll do it. And I think it's been proven. If you think about what's happened in the athletic world, think about what's happening in the political world, or whatever, all of that is all, I guess you say is the results of the contribution of those of us who served World War II at that time.